I'm really competitive when it comes to gaming. One of my favorite things to do is understand a game better than most other people by really getting into the systems, finding the optimizations, and being more proficient at it than anyone else. So, I'm low-key excited for Pokemon Legends ZA ranked battles. Not because it's good, no, the complete opposite. I think this is going to be unplayable garbage. But mastering that seems really interesting to me. Like, is there a crumb here? Is there anything salvageable about the Pokemon Legends ZA terrible, indefensible battle system that can actually be, like, used to show some kind of proficiency and actually develop skill? It's so bad, it's a challenge that I kind of really want to get into, especially as the best competitive Pokemon player in the world. So, like, will those skills transfer? Can I find the move sets and the strategies? And even though it is more real-time, even though it's like a fake turn-based, but then weird stuff like this can happen. Like, what is the optimal strategy? Is the optimal strategy running around in the corner, powering up, and then scooping up, like, Mega Energy and stuff, and then going in on people? Do you only play for the ganks? Actually, every time I watch these videos, I either notice, like, something bad or a new little detail. No matter how much I watch it, you can see the opponent's health bar. So that actually, like, you have to kind of get in close. So you have to hang on the edge of a fight, not get turned on. Because, like, if two people are fighting, they're like, hey, that guy's trying to gank us, and they just, like, both hit you. You know, that's strategy right there. So, like, do you just, like, stun an opposing Pokemon, turn on the person trying to gank them, get the KO, and then, like, bounce around or something, run away? There's like, strategy ideas here. Now, is all of that just fake and none of it's really going to fly? Who knows? But seeing the health bar actually takes away a lot, especially as a third party, because, like, oh, it'd be an interesting gamble. It's like, am I going to finish these people off by, like, using my cooldowns and then showing my strategy? But no, actually, this seems like it's going to encourage more degenerate playstyles. And then just, like, going off the damage numbers, yeah, Gyarados one-shots Talonflame, Mega Dragonite's going to do a lot of damage here, and then how chaotic is it going to be? Because unfortunately, the official promotional material for Pokemon Legends ZA has been terrible, and it doesn't actually represent the game, because in 3 minutes, like, this is all the action that occurs inside the game, 6 KOs, and then we also have respawns and stuff, and as the respawns are happening, like, you can just see people waiting around, wandering around, literally twirling in circles, just to kind of show the gameplay. This person just runs away to stall out. When Talonflame Bro respawns back in at some point, like right here, like, look, they're just running around in circles waiting for that. It's like, oh, what's the actual battle going to look like when it comes to the ZA Royale? We don't really know for sure, but from the rest of it, I've done multiple videos breaking down the battle systems and the gameplay. It just looks awful. I don't know what there is, what kind of strategy can happen in a completely broken, non-functioning, non-strategic system. But maybe it'll just be team comp. You know, you just get a lot of type representation. You play degenerate by, like, swapping out as much as you can before you hit the cooldown. You collect all the power-ups on the edge, and then you just pick people off. And if you try to get ran down, then you just play, like, defensive stuff. So yeah, it's going to take some experimentation, and then maybe some comps. And it would actually be hilarious if, like, there is some kind of breakpoint where competitively this game is actually really good, but casually or storyline gameplay is just, like, the most insufferable thing ever. And if there's actually diverse strategy, because we have action elements, because we have all these people just swinging on each other and all these other things going on, it could be fun where it's like, yeah, I actually have multiple team comps. I just feel whatever when I'm playing, I can, like, optimize or get really better at one. And that's why I'm interested. And I'm actually worried multiplayer battling is going to be good, because the Pokemon community hates it. The Pokemon community online is not a vocal minority. It is a vocal majority of toxic, terminally online losers that hate Pokemon. So if they're against something, or if they support something, like, as just, like, an online thing, you see something go viral on Twitter or Reddit, you can know for certain it is the absolutely wrong take as a true Pokemon fan. And that's, like, that's how you distinguish it. Pokemon community online versus Pokemon fans. They're not one in the same. And because of that, it's like, oh, if they hate this, because God forbid you ever ask anyone in the Pokemon community to actually play the games, you know it's going to be good. And there's probably going to be some kind of reverse thing because Verlisify always right. No one has ever debunked me yet, and my takes only mature like the finest of wine with age. So it's going to be one of those things where if everyone hates the battling, I am 100% getting sucked into it. I'm going to waste all my time. No one cares about it because there's no competitive desire inside of Pokemon. VGC is the most dead it's ever been. Pokemon community people don't actually play the games because they're all fake fans. So I'm going to get invested. There's not going to be any viewership, there's not going to be any opportunity, and then everyone hates it. And then I'm just going to be left there going, but wait, the battling's actually kind of good! Like, we could have come together as a community and had fun with this game, but no, you all hate fun and hate Pokemon, so it's actually impossible. And another weird thing that's happening is I'm kind of getting my wish from this because people are going, oh, the one thing I wanted from this game is behind Nintendo's greed and a paywall, so I'm just going to boycott it. Now, I don't trust anyone to actually boycott it, but it is weird how there's no free will in the Pokemon community. It's like the most peer pressure brain rot you can find online, where it's like, yeah, Pokemon Legends Arceus is objectively bad. Everyone formed their opinions about the game just off of the trailer. It's like, it's actually open world Breath of the Wild Pokemon. Literally none of those things. Pokemon Legends Arceus brought zero innovation to Pokemon. Everything you could read on the website was bad. People got mad at me because they're just like, you're lying, Verlisify. It's not going to be that you have to catch Pokemon multiple times to proceed in the story, and it's going to be an open world game, even though reading the website completely debunks that. And they came out, it's the greatest game ever. So that's what I mean. Like, you have to be allowed to dislike something in the Pokemon community, unless it's me. So the Pokemon community has become so hateful and warped, it's impossible for them to be honest. So if they're like, not buying this game, or they're using their frustrations about the Megastones to be like, yeah, and this kind of looks bad in ZA2, I don't like it. And that leads to the game getting poor sales, and then we don't get real-time battling in Generation 10, because this is the worst direction for the main series that Pokemon could have ever done. We saw with Legends Arceus. Legends Arceus, worst-selling main series Pokemon game in the 3D era, one of the worst-selling Pokemon games ever, and then they double down with it on ZA instead of just giving us a Z version. That's what upsets me the most. We could have just had Kalos again. We could have had the second renaissance of Pokemon, because X and Y, fantastic. Brought everyone back together after the trash of Generation 5, just the most fake Pokemon experience that burned out a lot of the real fans. They came back for X and Y and everyone was having fun. We could have had that again for Z version, where it's like, wow, this looks impressive. This looks amazing. We finally get the story of Pokemon X and Y that we never got, because we spent 1 year. We spent 1 year in Kalos, and then for Omega Ruby Now Sapphire, we spent 2 years in a remake for Hoenn, which has already been just like completely sorted through and got multiple games and stuff. One game for X and Y, and then nope, only Back to the City. So that's why I hate Legends as a series. It is careless and has no respect for Pokemon. And then going back to like the whole Mega thing, it's like everyone's upset because they actually have to battle. They actually have to play the game. Pokemon is literally a competitive game. It started that way. That's what the Game Boy Link cable is for. No one called the Game Boy Link cable a paywall, even though that's why there's two versions. That's the only way you can battle and trade with other people. The true essence of Pokemon is being the very best like no one ever was, and training your little dudes to go and dumpster other children. And now we're just in like such a soft, fragile society that doesn't want to work for anything at any moment in their life. That's like, oh, yeah, actually being competitive, training, and doing battles to get the thing you want, to unlock rewards inside the game by earning them. Worst thing ever. This game sucks. Worst Pokemon game ever. And there's no valid arguments against it, because when you do the math, the electricity for your Nintendo Switch is more expensive than the $2 a month for Nintendo Switch Online. And if you can't afford the $2 a month, that also gives you other features. Like, if you're complaining about this, you need to play Donkey Kong Country 2, Super Mario World, Metroid, and all the classic games more than anything to maybe reset your brain and become slightly more normal and functioning in society. Play real games if this is what you're crying about. And if you only have a Nintendo Switch to only play Pokemon single player and you have no multiplayer interaction whatsoever, you are so unbelievably privileged that, yeah, that $2 doesn't even count. And if you can't afford the $2 a month, again, electricity is a problem, internet is a problem, but you're online complaining about this on your several $100 smartphone on your $50 a month internet plan. No, your $50 a month phone bill, while there's a $70 a month plan that you get your internet from your router from. and then let alone the cost of the game and the cost of the console. It is a non-argument. It cannot hold up. The cost of batteries to be able to even play the Game Boy is more expensive than Nintendo Switch Online. And no one said like, oh, the paywall of batteries or else I can't get to play my Pokemon game. Nintendo's just the worst, greediest company ever. So yeah, it seems like all of that is just lies because they don't want to work for anything, because like, wait a second, that means I have to actually catch my Pokemon, and I have to train them, and I have to work in battles, but even though I say Wolfie VGC is the best Pokemon YouTuber ever, and he got me into VGC, and VGC's bigger than ever, I can't be bothered to play. I never want to battle another person because I'm bad at the game. Losing makes me feel bad, and I never want to improve to actually feel good about myself. That's what all of this says, and we've also seen this like throughout all of gaming, where there's a major backlash and a major turning against competitive gaming, that everyone's a sweat, and why do people try so hard in their competitive games? No, you're just the worthless loser incapable of building value for yourself because you refuse to put in the most bare minimum of effort to do so. This also goes into my VGC conversations where it's just like, yeah, did you know Pokemon is the most accessible competitive discipline, at least compared to sports? Every single sport takes longer and more money to be competitive than Pokemon. You don't get a starting set of gear for less than $500. That's what everyone says is unacceptable. That you have to buy the highest selling Pokemon game on Nintendo's highest selling console, one of the highest selling consoles in all of gaming that everyone already has. And God forbid you actually have to play a Pokemon game. God forbid, as a Pokemon fan, you buy the new Pokemon games as they come out and then hold on to them and go back and play them some more. It's just like, none of these arguments hold up, but the Pokemon community is just completely toxic and deranged, so it's impossible to interface with them, honestly. And then we get all this other weird stuff, but again, going back to the whole general gaming, everyone just complains, like, yeah, they just want free wins without any of the work, and anytime anyone's better than them, they just fold over and cry. So, like, we see that coming through. That's actually, this ramble has been most of the video, where it's like, that's how I feel about the battling. I'm excited for the multiplayer, because if it's so awful and you master that, and that's skill expression, baby. That's what I'm all about. And maybe there could be some fun strategy, and maybe we can find some diversity in strategy or optimizing team builds. Or maybe it's just completely unplayable. All of this means nothing, and it is the worst Pokemon game. I'm gonna try it, hate it, and then there's nothing salvageable. But at least nothing was lost, because the only thing to do in this game is multiplayer, which is actually, that's the only thing to do in any Pokemon game. 90 to 95% of all main series Pokemon game content is post-game for competitive, which is why people cry. They're just like, this game needs more. It's like, well, no, you just completely ignored the battle tree. You just completely ignored the SOS mechanics or all these other training things inside of it. The wild area and the dens are supposed to be farmed for 100 hours so you can make multiple competitive Pokemon teams. They hate all the gameplay loops because they hate Pokemon. They complain about the price even though they're spending $60 for 5% of a game when the story doesn't even matter that much. They misunderstand the story because X and Y and... not X and Y. We have Sword and Shield and Red and Blue version have two of the best stories in Pokemon. But because these losers have no comprehension skills, no intelligence to understand things, they can't see that. And then, like, yeah, then they just hack in all their Pokemon, complain that there's nothing to do inside the game because then they don't want to go online and lose. Because you need to lose to improve, and then you have to find desire and drive to get better. But we can't have that in current year. So that's where we're at. Who knows? We can tell that the storyline battling's bad. We don't know how it opens up into actually like trying competitively with other people coming in. And then we'll see how that plays out. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.